'cause there will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time.
Hey guys, and welcome on into another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends, free NHL picks. I'm Terry, ready to break down the Saturday slate. We have another 9 games to talk about today, after 9 games yesterday. So we are going to jump right into it, of course, but we'll start with taking a look at what happened yesterday in the NHL. I had the Nashville Predators plus 100 in this game. They go to overtime, unfortunately losing to the Detroit Red Wings. That's going to happen. Overtime games are going to happen, and you just have to kind of um, go with it. You're going to lose some, you're going to win some. Unfortunately, that one was a loser. Gustav Nyquist continued his point streak overall, and yeah, win for the Red Wings in that game. Here in this one, I was waiting to bet this over. As soon as I saw Rangers and Florida were playing each other, I was all over the over. It was my favorite play of the day yesterday, and was super happy when the Rangers scored shorthanded to tie up the game 3-3, cashing the over. Unfortunately, the Rangers lost the game, so didn't cash that plus price. But I did cash the same game parlay that I did in this game. I had Reinhart and Barkov to get points, and I had Kreider, Zibanejad, and Panarin all to get a point. All 5 got a point in this game, so that was a winner. Of course, I did give out all those player props. I mentioned them all out yesterday. So a lot of the props are single plays you have to put in parlays if I don't have them on screen, but I still mention um, them. Of course, one of the ones I did put on screen here, Igor Shinnikov, his goal streak came to an end. So he didn't score yesterday. High scoring game between these two teams, with the Columbus Blue Jackets finishing on top. And Johnny Gaudreau, Adam Fantilli, 2 players that have been really hot for Columbus lately. They continue their point streak. Columbus winning in overtime, beating the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-5 yesterday. So I don't think we'll see these teams play again this season, actually, because I know they faced each other 3 times now. We may not see them play again this year. New Jersey Devils, and we definitely won't see them play in the playoffs, so that won't happen. But New Jersey Devils and Ottawa Senators in this game. I did have Batherson to get a point. He scored the first goal of the game for the New Jersey Devils. For the Ottawa Senators, and then New Jersey took over. It was the Hughes show: Jack Hughes, Luke Hughes, Jesper Bratt, and then Mercer, Toffoli, Smith. It was just an awesome night for the Devils, winning 6-2, taking care of business here against the Senators. And the Devils starting to heat up a bit in recent games. Washington Capitals, New York Islanders. I completely stayed off this game, and I'm glad I did, because I was leaning more towards the under 5.5, and I was leaning towards Washington possibly in this game. Of course, the Islanders won 5-1, so it would have been 2 losses there. So I'm glad I passed on this game. Blackhawks and Stars. Robertson got a point, and Hintz got a hat trick. A game winner in overtime, hat trick winning goal for the Dallas Stars. I know there was some talk yesterday about putting Stars money line in a parlay. And you know what? I'll be honest, I did it too. I know some people on the show, I believe it was Owen, but I'm not sure. But somebody on the show yesterday had Stars money line in a parlay. I did some parlays last night, some player prop parlays, some money line parlays, and it was a great night overall. So Stars got the win there in overtime. I was rooting for them, as I did have them in a parlay. Avalanche and Blues. The streak finally ended. Nathan McKinnon did not get a point in this game. But the Avalanche with the 2-1 win over the St. Louis Blues. Um, Shocking that McKinnon's streak ends here in this one. I did have the Avalanche money line in a parlay, so I was happy with the final result. Um, and yeah, it was a bit of a shocker not to see McKinnon on the score sheet. Arizona Coyotes and Anaheim Ducks. I did have Arizona in a parlay. I did mention that on yesterday's show that I didn't want to take Arizona singly around the minus 130 price, and I was going to put them in parlays. And the Coyotes won 2-0. Fortunately, Jersey didn't get a point. He was involved in the first goal, but unfortunately, I think he would have got the fourth or the third assist, which doesn't exist. So, unfortunately, he did not get a point in that game. And it all came down to this one. It all came down to this game yesterday, the final game of my parlays. I did like the Kraken yesterday. I mentioned on yesterday's show, and I had the Kraken money line in a couple parlays, and I had the draw in this game. And of course, it's 1-0 Philly throughout, and I'm in the third period thinking it's not going to be a good finish to the night. Seattle Kraken ties it. They go to overtime. I cash my draw, and then Seattle in the final seconds of overtime wins. So overall, a nice winning night. Overall, which is what I've been waiting for recently. But that's today's slate, or sorry, that's yesterday's slate. We will jump into today's slate. Start with the first game here, which is going to be one of the game of the days. There's actually some good matchups on today's slate. It'll start with this one, the first afternoon game happening in around 2 hours here. Minnesota plus 110 to plus 115. Winnipeg minus 125 to minus 130. Sixes right across the board here. PointsBet has a 5.5 in this game. Minnesota coming off yet another win. The Wild 7-1 in their last 8 games, 11-3 in their last 14. Philip Gustafsson will be in net for this game. Marc-Andre Fleury will play tomorrow. Of course, this is a first of a home and home back-to-back. So these two teams face each other in Winnipeg today, and then they go and face each other in Minnesota tomorrow. So it'll be a nice back-to-back for these teams. Winnipeg 8-1-2 in their last 11 games, playing pretty good hockey overall recently as well. Winnipeg is coming off a tough loss, overtime loss to the Blackhawks. Winnipeg only able to score 1 goal in that game, which was a bit upsetting because I had obviously Velarde and I had Winnipeg on the puck line, and they end up losing outright to Chicago Blackhawks. This is the first meeting between these two teams this year. Minnesota 6-3 in the last 9 games between the teams. Minnesota won both trips to Winnipeg last year, winning 4-2 and 4-1. Both of these teams are playing really well right now, but I have to take the Wild at plus money. I got them at plus 119 yesterday. You can get them for plus 110 to plus 115 right now. This is the game I worry about a little bit more. I really like them tomorrow as well. I think the Wild could very well win both games. But today's game is the one that I'm a little, if you wanted to know which one I'm more confident in, it is the home game tomorrow with Marc-Andre Fleury in net. But Gustafsson has been actually the better goalie. And he starts in this one. So you're giving me the Wild with how they're playing. You're giving me Gustafsson in net, and you're giving me plus 115, which is what you would get right now. I got plus 119. I have to take it here. I have to take the Wild in this one. Another reason why to take the Wild, they are getting scoring depth throughout the lineup. So obviously the top line, Kirill Kaprizov has a goal in 4 straight games. Matt Boldy has a point in 8 of his last 12. Then you have the second line with Marco Rossi, Ryan Hartman, and Marcus Johansson. Rossi has a point in 3 of his last 4. Hartman has a point in 5 of his last 7. And Marcus Johansson has a point in 4 of his last 5. So we're starting to see some nice production from that second line. And then you have the third line with Foligno and Maroon and Gaudreau. Well, Foligno's on a 3-game point streak as well. So we are seeing scoring throughout the lineup for Minnesota right now. Um, Looking at Winnipeg, Velarde has at least 3 shots on goal in 8 straight games. I will definitely have that in parlays. He's a goal in 5 of his last 6. Of course, not scoring in his last game. Nikolai Ehlers has a point in 10 of his last 12. At least 3 shots on goal in 7 of his last 8. And Josh Morrissey has at least 3 shots on goal in 7 of his last 8 games. So I'd be looking at Velarde, Ehlers, and Morrissey for shot props, Kaprizov anytime goal, Boldy point and parlays, maybe Boldy goal, Rossi point. Could go Hartman and Johansson points as well if you can get them, but I wouldn't want to go too far on that. But they're both on streaks as well. So really, um, while getting scoring depth up and down the lineup, and I like them here in this game. I know I like the Wild all the time, but if you watch how they've been playing recently and you see the final results, they're just playing great hockey right now. So is Winnipeg, though. So this is going to be a tough game. Philip Gustafson, obviously a net for Minnesota. Nobody confirmed for Winnipeg. I'm assuming it'll be Hellebuck, but with this game being a back-to-back, we'll have to see what happens in this one. Heading along to the second game, which will be at 5 p.m. So kind of in the middle of the 2 and the 7 o'clock p.m. games. We've got the Columbus Blue Jackets, plus 165 to plus 176. Buffalo Sabres, minus 197 to minus 210. 6.5, mostly sevens available here. You can get 6.5 at Bet365. Most other books here have sevens in this one. And I'll start right off the bat. No single plays here for me. There are player props that I like in this game. However, Columbus just played last night. Big win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now they're heading to Buffalo. Buffalo minus 200 favorites. I can't get behind Buffalo here. I'd have to go with the puck line. We did just see these teams play each other when Columbus scored 9 goals on the Sabres. This game here just it's a tough one when it comes from a side. I do expect goals, and of course, there's a total of 7, so I'm not getting involved in the total here either. Looking at confirmed goalies, there's nobody. It's projected to be Tarasov against Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen here in this game. But looking at player props, mentioned it in the earlier recap of yesterday's show. Johnny Gaudreau now has a point in 6 of his last 7. Adam Fantilli has a point in 5 of his last 6 games. Those are the 2 Columbus players I'd be looking at on the top line. Casey Middlestat for the Sabres, he's got a point in 5 of his last 6. And Rasmus Dahlin has at least 3 shots on goal in 12 of his last 13 games. So I'd be looking at Middlestat and Dahlin for the Sabres, Gaudreau and Fantilli for the Blue Jackets. And I think we get a higher scoring game. And I don't know who wins this one. It should be the Sabres, but I'm not confident here in this one. Sorry, Steven, I completely missed your comments there. Miko, Nathan, and Valerie, no shots on goal in the third, and only 8 shots on goal the whole team. Yeah, that's I expected them to come out after that Arizona game and really play well and really take it to the Blues, but they didn't, which is kind of shocking. Can't believe tonight's slate is stinky. I don't know about that. Fun games to watch, but stinky to bet on. Maybe. We'll continue on through the card, but the next game is definitely not stinky to bet on. I absolutely love our next game here, which is between Carolina Hurricanes and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Carolina minus 115 to minus 130. Toronto plus 105 to plus 110. 6.5s right across the board here in this game. And obviously, these 2 teams have history. Leafs fans don't want to hear it, but Carolina won the game with the Zamboni driver in net. Of course, if anyone remembers that when they had the emergency goalie in net. Of course, Leafs fans don't want to hear it, but I won't go on about that. But just when you see Carolina and Toronto, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. So Carolina has won back-to-back games, 5-2 and 5-3. So we're starting to see some nice offense from the Hurricanes lately. Now they head to Toronto. Carolina 5-1-3 in their last 9 games. They've now gone over 6.5 in 5 of their last 7. Carolina scoring goals, but also allowing goals, which is great when you're looking at overs. Toronto played in Columbus yesterday, obviously. High scoring game in that one. Now they have to travel across the border back home to face this Carolina team that is waiting for them. Toronto has now gone over 6.5 in 7 of their last 9 and 10 of their last 13 games. So Toronto has been an over machine as well. Toronto has lost 4 of their last 5 games now after yesterday's game. 4 of the last 7 meetings between these teams went over 6.5. The last 2 meetings last year, 5-2, 5-3. Give me the over 6.5 and give me the Hurricanes, which I got plus money yesterday. So the odds here are for what happened last. The odds on the screen are from last night's odds, except for the draws that we'll get to on later. But all the sides and the total here were odds from yesterday. Thought I would keep them and see how they changed from yesterday to today. But I like the Hurricanes here. I think the rest advantage, and they're playing pretty well recently. Toronto is not. I think we get goals here on both sides. I think we get a high scoring game in this one. Obviously, we'll see what's happening in net here. Bring it up if I can find this game here. Kochetkov is confirmed for Carolina, 8-7-3 with a 2.65 goals against average, 898 save percentage. And it should be Martin Jones for Toronto, 4-2-0, 2.85 goals against average, 914 save percentage. So if you just look at the goals against averages, it looks like a possible low scoring game, but when you look deeper into it, I like goals here and the Hurricanes finish out on top. Looking at player props here for this game, Sebastian Aho has a point in 6 of his last 7 games. Andrei Svechnikov has at least 3 shots on goal in 5 of his last 7, and he has a point 4 of his last 5. So I'd be looking at Aho and Svechnikov both for points. For Toronto, Nylander has a point in 13 straight games now. Matthews has a point in 9 straight, a goal in 8 of his last 9. And then John Tavares continues to be a shot machine. At least 4 shots on goal in 10 straight games and 14 of his last 16. Tavares continues to just have a lot of high volume in shots for the Toronto Maple Leafs. My only play tonight is Blue/Rags moneyline parlay. Interesting. We'll get to those games here in a bit. But we'll move on along to our next game here, which is between the Montreal Canadiens and the Florida Panthers here in this one. Montreal plus 200 to plus 216. Florida minus 245 to minus 260. 6.5s right across the board here in this game. And I played a pass history stat with Florida and the over yesterday, and now we have another pass history stat here with Montreal and Florida. And the fact of the matter is that Montreal does not enjoy playing this division rival. Florida has won 9 of the last 10 games between these teams, winning by multiple goals in 8 of their 9 wins. They scored at least 4 goals in all 9 wins, and they scored at least 5 goals in 7 of the 9 wins against Montreal. So Florida wins by 2. They score at least 4 or 5 goals, and they take care of business when they face this Montreal team for whatever reason. Florida is playing on the second night of a back-to-back. However, they played at home yesterday, so it's not a travel spot. Montreal coming into this game after a 5-3 loss against Carolina, the first time we've seen Montreal lose by multiple goals in a while because they have been playing close hockey. Um, but I don't think tonight. Give me the Panthers -1.5, which I got for +106 yesterday. Now you're looking for around -105. I would still play it at that number. This Florida Panthers team is looking real good lately, and they just absolutely dominate Montreal for whatever reason. They have a lot of good history against Montreal here. And this one, looking at goaltenders for this game, Jake Allen will be in net for Montreal, 4-6-2 with a 3.43 goals against average, 904 save percentage. A pretty rough numbers overall for Jake Allen. Stolar is likely for Florida, 4-3-1 with a 2.18 goals against average and a 915 save percentage. So pretty good numbers overall for Stolars. Um, not very good numbers for Jake Allen in this one. Looking at player props, there's one player on Montreal, and that's Mike Matheson. He's got a point in 4 straight games and at least 3 shots on goal in 6 of his last 7. And he has at least 2 shots on goal in 9 straight games. So Mike Matheson definitely playing well for the Montreal Canadiens. And for Florida, Reinhart and Barkov both have points. Sam Reinhart, Alexander Barkov, both have points in 5 of their last 6 games. Both had multi-point games yesterday, if I am correct. I know both had points yesterday. I believe both had multi-point games yesterday. And I like both to find the score sheet again here against Jake Allen and the Montreal Canadiens. Oh, Canes opened up his dogs, but now they're favorites. So, per my dog to fave method, Leafs win. All right. All right. But it's the Leafs, lol. Yeah. I just don't like the travel spot for the Leafs. Yeah, I explained it. I think I like the spot for Carolina here in this one. But I'll move on along to our next game, which is between the Nashville Predators and the Washington Capitals. I'm just noticing that StreamYard deleted the background for this game, which for whatever reason happens in some games, and then I forget to check before this show starts. I apologize about that. It will load here in a second. National Predators heading to Washington to face the Capitals. Both teams obviously on the second night of a back-to-back in this one. Nashville -101 to -112. Washington -108 to -110. Sixes right across the board here in this game. And we don't have any confirmed goaltenders for this game. But I am seeing Yaroslav Askarov as unconfirmed for Nashville. So obviously, I know SARS played last night, but I guess maybe there's something going on with their backup, and looks like Askarov might possibly start in this game. Darcy Kemper, unconfirmed for Washington, but he should play in this game. 8-2 with a 3.16 goals against average, 892 save percentage in this game. And when I look at this game, there's only one thing I can do here in this one, and that's take the draw. A +360. Obviously, Washington got a beat down yesterday, and I think they will intend to play a lot closer hockey here in this one. I think this will be a close game. I think that's why it's priced the way it is as well. 1-1, 2-2, something like that. I think we get overtime in this one. So half unit play here on the draw at +360 in this game. Looking at player props, nobody for Washington really stands out. For Nashville, Gustav Nyquist has a point in 4 straight. And then also Philip Forsberg obviously plays with Nyquist. 2-goal game yesterday. You could always look at him for a point as well in this game. I got Thomas, Sam Reinhart, and Cooch anytime goal parlay. Best of luck. Motherfucker looking like a predator. I don't know if you're talking to me, but know your booty call lines, movie lines, people. Not sure what you're talking about, but okay. Is Patches playing? As far as I know, I don't know anything about. Um, I don't know anything about his status. We will get to that game here in a second. Here, oh, Pacioretty. Sorry, Pacioretty. Yes, I'm pretty sure actually he's supposed to make his debut in this game. Let me actually look at that here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he could make his debut in this game, unless he played yesterday. And then if he did, I don't think he's going to play in this game, but um, not for sure in that game. But we'll move on along to our next one, which is between the St. Louis Blues and the Pittsburgh Penguins here. St. Louis plus 165 to plus 182. Pittsburgh minus 200 to minus 210. 6.5s right across the board here in this game. Obviously, the Blues played yesterday off the 2-1 loss to Colorado, and now they travel to Pittsburgh here to face this Penguins team that didn't play yesterday, but in their most recent game, a nice 7-0 win against their division rival in the Islanders. And I don't know really what to make of this game. This is one of the few games on the slate where I just don't know what to make of it. Tristan Jarry will be in net today for this game. 10, 11, and 2, 2.49 goals against average, 916 save percentage. Shibby Olhofer, 7 and 5, 2.73 goals against average, 912 save percentage for the Blues. And this game is just, as I said, not one I have a real good handle on. Looking at player props, not much here. You can always go Crosby and Gensel, but Crosby shockingly, when the Islanders won 7-0, or sorry, when the Pittsburgh Penguins defeated the Islanders 7-0, Crosby didn't have a point and didn't even have a shot on goal, which is shocking to me. That the Penguins win 7-0 and Crosby doesn't even have a shot on goal. So I would expect a better game from him today. But overall, this game should actually say pass because I'm completely passing here in this one. Under 6.5, says Fernando. Yeah, I would look at that way. This Blues team plays a lower type scoring hockey, and obviously the Penguins, after scoring 7 goals, I think we could see a lower scoring game as well. So best of luck there. Moving on along to our next game, which is between the New Jersey Devils and the Boston Bruins. New Jersey plus 130 to plus 135. Boston minus 147 to minus 160. Sixes right across the board here in this game. And Boston obviously ended their losing streak with a win in their last game. New Jersey has now won 3 in a row. And looking at this price, I'm tempted to look at the New Jersey Devils here. I don't like that it's a back-to-back, but the Devils 11 and 5 in the season, 19-13 and 2. Sorry, 19-13 and 2 in the season, 11-5 on the road. Obviously, the Bruins 10-2 and 3 at home, 27-6 on the season. The Devils winning in overtime in the last meeting between these two teams. And now they face each other again, and I think we get overtime again. I like the draw a plus 370 here in this one, and I'm very tempted to look towards the Devils. I think the Devils are a team that could potentially start to go on a run here. Obviously, winning their last 3 games, but Detroit, Columbus, and Ottawa were the 3 teams they faced. This is a step up in competition with the Bruins. But the Bruins not looking too good heading into the Christmas break. They did have that 4-1 win against Buffalo, but beating Buffalo isn't really all that impressive. So this will be an interesting game for the Bruins to show, are they back? Is their losing streak over? And a big game for the Devils to show if they're about to go on a run here. So this will be an interesting game when it comes for both teams. Nobody confirmed. Should be Vitek Vanacek against Linus Ullmark, but nobody confirmed here. Obviously, Boston has the goalie advantage here, with the Devils struggling overall on the season. When it comes to goaltending, Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes play our props for me for the Devils side. Brad Marchand has a point in 3 of his last 4 for the Bruins. But the Bruins, kind of a tough team when it comes to player props. Not a whole lot of players producing recently. So we'll have to see what happens here in this one. Take the Bruins. All 4 lines scored for the Devils last night. Back to back, not good. Life is even, Steven. Yeah, yeah, I could see that it's a good situational spot for the Bruins. I just really like how this Devils team has played recently. Just add at least money line to the parlay out of pure backing my method play. It's a parlay, so 1 loss means I lose. Yeah, I don't know if I would have added it to your parlay, but hey, you do you. You do you in this one. 2 more games on today's slate and 2 really good matchups. Like I said, we've got some good matchups on today's slate. The next game being the New York Rangers heading to Tampa Bay to face the Lightning. Rangers minus 101 to minus 110. Tampa Bay minus 110 to minus 115. Sixes right across the board here in this game. The Rangers, off that loss yesterday, now heading to Tampa Bay. Vasilevsky should start in this one. The or should start in for the Lightning. Shesterkin will start for the Rangers. And I'm going with another draw, plus 360 here in this one. This draw I'm kind of choosing because I don't know who wins this game. I think this is going to be a really close game again. So this is just kind of I think it's going to be a close game. So I'm going to throw money on the draw play here in this one. Half unit, a plus 360. Just need one of my 3 draws to cash today, and I'll be profitable. And I think this could be a very close game here in this one. Um, Looking at player props, Mika Zibanejad now has a point in 9 straight games for the Rangers, and 17 of his last 18 games, Mika Zibanejad has a point. Panarin has a point in 8 of his last 9 games and 13 of his last 16. And Chris Kreider has a point in 6 of his last 7 games for the Rangers. For the Lightning, Nikita Kucherov has at least 3 shots on goal in 25 of his last 27 games. He is Mr. Consistency. He's got a point in 5 of his last 6 and 17 of his last 20 games. Victor Hedman for the Lightning has an assist in 5 straight games. So Hedman is getting involved here in the score sheet. Those are the player props I like today. I think we get a 2-2 game, maybe 3-3 game in this one. We'll see what happens here. Fernando likes the over. And for my player props, I hope so. I like it. I want to see goals. And I'm leaning Rangers for right now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who wins here. It's a rest advantage for the Lightning, but I don't know. I have a tough time fading this Rangers team. I felt Rangers bolts go to overtime. I remember Shesh and Vasilov going to overtime when they start against each other, as far as you remember. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me in this game. And we'll go to the final game of the night. Another good game. So, like I said, good matchups in today's slate. Edmonton minus 102 to plus 105. LA Kings minus 116 to minus 120. 6.5s right across the board here in this game. The Oilers on a 3-game winning streak coming into this game, 11-3 in their last 14 games. So, like the Wild, the Oilers are playing really well, including 5-1 on the road. They've played really good hockey on the road recently. The LA Kings comes into this game after losing 3-2 to Vegas. The Kings 4-4-1 in their last 9. So playing around 500 hockey in recent games. Looking at previous meetings between these two teams, Edmonton 6-0-2 in the last 8 meetings, 3-0-1 in their last 4 trips to LA. Give me the dog here, which I got a plus 112 yesterday. Now we're seeing minus 105 here in this one. I would still take the Oilers. I like the Oilers to win this game. So I would take them um, really at whatever price, as long as it's not doesn't move drastically here. Looking at goaltenders for this game, nobody confirmed, but that's to be expected this early in the day. Projected to be Skinner against Talbot. No big surprise. Talbot has the advantage when it comes to goalie stats, but uh, this Edmonton team is playing really well, and I like them to win this game as an underdog win here. Bouchard for the Norris. Now. I think Brock Faber should get some Norris votes, but um, yeah, Bouchard, he's putting up the points, but defensively, and I know the Norris goes to guys that get more points, but in my mind, the best defenseman should be the best defenseman, not the best D man who puts points on the board. But that's a whole other conversation for another day. But that's today's show. Thanks everyone for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And we'll see you again tomorrow for another 9 games on tomorrow's slate. Um, Possibly might do tomorrow's show tonight. So keep an eye out. We'll see how things go. But best of luck to everyone on today's slate. Let's all make some money, and we'll see you again for another episode. Getting Well with Terry and Friends. But did I mention props? I didn't mention props in this one. Okay, good thing I will go back to the last game just before I end out the show. Go back here. Zach Hyman, at least 3 shots on goal in 16 straight games for the Oilers. He's got a goal in 5 of his last 7. McDavid has a point in 15 of his last 16 games. Kopitar has a point in 6 of his last 8. Trevor Moore has a goal in 4 of his last 6, and at least 3 shots on goal in 6 of his last 7 games. And also, yeah, that's it. Best luck to everyone on today's slate, and we'll see you again. Thanks for watching, guys.